Hey, listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and MPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
We've got a big show tonight. We've got to get through the results for NXT TakeOver in your house, as well as preview the Backlash pay-per-view coming up. So we're going to skip over into some of the title matches from NXT TakeOver and discuss their implications first. And that first one up on the board is going to be the longest match of the night, the 20-minute match. Keith Lee successfully defending his NXT North American Championship against Johnny Gargano.
I was the only one in our group to pick Lee to retain.
Correct.
I'd like to point that out. I'd also like to point out that it was the only championship match that I got right. So I'll give you that one too. I just thought that Lee was going to retain. That I didn't think Gargano was going to take the title.
Yeah, this pay-per-view has been almost a reset of sorts. Because, you've got Keith Lee defeating Gargano here, and you've got other championship matches that we'll talk about in a minute. But then on NXT the next week, it seems as though everybody's got new challenges, everybody's got new directions, everybody wants to go off here, there, and everywhere. Keith Lee wants to go after the NXT title. You got Gargano coming over here, you got Priest putting his nose in, you got Dexter Lumis floating about, and it feels like, we're getting 3 or 4 brand new feuds starting up in the coming weeks.
May I point out that the biggest benefit of this whole situation with the COVID virus may be Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
Because his gimmick is probably something that doesn't work if there's a crowd in the audience.
Yeah, there's definitely something to the silence that he operates in.
Yeah. But now that he's gotten his character going and stuff, and he's gotten over, once they do bring in the audience, it won't hurt him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy's really pulled off the whole crazed stalker kind of thing. I believe he kidnapped Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong, which was an amazing Twitter thing. And I love that they
continued that to online, because they kept going, where is they? Where are they? And then apparently they posted a picture of him from their socials as they continue it, and I'm like, that is just pure genius.
Yeah, they're really doing it right. And then this week on NXT, Dexter Lumis was just standing in the crowd staring at Roderick Strong, and he's in his head. And it's really good. I think he's going to be up there fairly quickly. Which we might as well just talk about the next match, because this one forced us to get into a new feud, because we had our last chance backlot brawl for the NXT Championship. Adam Cole successfully retaining, meaning that Velveteen Dream cannot challenge for that NXT Championship anymore as long as Cole is champion.
I don't know where they're going to go with Dream from here.
No, Cole has a line of guys, but Dream really doesn't. Cole obviously has Dexter Lumis probably on the closest behind him. He's got the man who won the next match that we'll talk about also lined up. But Velveteen Dream was at his apex of popularity, and he didn't win the title. And then he had one more last shot, and then he didn't win the title. You just don't quite know what's in his future. We could see him potentially. There was rumors that he was going to be going up lateral move, but those I think they were proven incorrect. So he's probably just going to float around in NXT and maybe head back to the mid card with the NXT North American Championship, or maybe just float around with guys like Balor and Priest. We just don't know. But one man who we do know what is going to happen to is Karrion Kross, who actually defeated Tommaso Ciampa in about 6 minutes. Pretty brutally.
Yeah, and seems to be positioning himself for a feud with our NXT champion.
It's jetpack time.
It's definitely a major impact, that's for sure.
Is that a pun intended?
No, unintentional, I guess.
Obviously, Killer Cross, previously from Impact Wrestling. But yeah, he had his hourglass in front of Adam Cole. I can't really tell who's positioning themselves, I guess, after that NXT Championship next, whether it will be Karrion Kross or whether it will be Dexter Lumis. Both seem to be on a collision course. It's really a case of whose time's up first. But he definitely had a really good showing in taking out Ciampa, and taking out Ciampa in the way he did as well. But the final match of the night, a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship, saw us get a brand new NXT Women's Champion.
Yep, sure did. What can you say? I thought it was a little early to take it off Charlotte, but we now have an evil pirate in the sky as our champion.
Yeah, we seem to always... we were looking at this match and we said, logically, Charlotte's gonna win, but I wouldn't mind an Io Shirai. I was definitely on the fantasy land wanting Io to win, but didn't think it would go that way. As you say, I think it was a bit early for Charlotte, but it did. And I don't imagine Charlotte is going to be hanging out in NXT for too much longer either. She might just move on.
Yeah, I would say she's probably heading back to Raw. Although I could see her maybe doing the honors to somebody on her way back up.
Well, we will have to wait and see. That is it for our NXT TakeOver In Your House coverage. It is time to jump into our entrance theme of the week before we run out of time. It will be, obviously, our brand new NXT Women's Champion theme playing for you right about now. And you're back to the Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and now we are moving over to Backlash, the main roster, the Raw and the SmackDowns. We've got 7 matches set at the moment at time of recording. Obviously a few more might slip in there on SmackDown this week, but let's run down what we got. We got a nice little singles match here between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus.
Yeah. I have a feeling that Sheamus is going to win because whatever's happening to Hardy is going to cost him the match.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Sheamus will be revealed as not the person who set up Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, obviously Jeff Hardy has this more overarching storyline that, he's currently short-term concerned with Sheamus, but mid-term he's got this being attacked Elias piece that we have to sort out. And if, as you say, it's not Sheamus, then there's no point dwelling on this, and just give my boy the win, and we move on with life. Bada bing, bada boom, easy peasy. Now let's look. Oh, which one do we go with here? Let's go with the United States Championship. Apollo Crews will be defending it against Andrade.
I'll say Apollo Crews will retain. I don't. This is one of those cases where I was like, well, why put the title on him if you're just going to take it back off and put it back on the guy you beat for it a month later?
Not unheard of.
We have seen that happen with this particular title several times in the past. So, who knows? But I think Apollo Crews retains.
Yeah, it's definitely my gut feeling as well. Pretty much echoing everything you said. No need to play hot potato. Keep it on Apollo. I guess the only thing is if Dijakovic is in the wings and he is coming through, whether he comes through as heel or face, and which champion he sort of needs to be sitting in front of him for that. But we'll see. We've got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. They've recently switched hands over to Bayley and Banks. They will be defending them against the former champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, as well as the Iconics in a triple threat tag team match.
Because I think it benefits the storyline more, I think Bayley and Sasha need to retain.
Okay.
I don't think it's time for the big boom moment yet, as I think there's still another pay-per-view between now and SummerSlam.
Yes, Extreme Rules.
So, I don't think the boom happens now, so I say they retain. Probably beating Bliss and Cross.
Okay, I'll allow that.
And then whoever comes up to face them at the Extreme Rules would be the ones that would take the titles because of a miscommunication or something, or Sasha finally gets fed up with Bayley and walks out on her. Something along those lines. And then whoever the opponent is our new champion. We can go from there.
Well, we know that on NXT, I think it is next week, that the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions will be defending their titles down on NXT against the team of Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. So there is a challenge directly afterwards. Whoever can make it out of Backlash as champion. We'll stick in the women's division. Our next match to chat about then is Asuka, who obviously holds that title now that Becky Lynch has stepped away to deal with her pregnancy after winning Money in the Bank, winning the Raw Women's Championship, and her first challenger up at the blocks for Backlash is going to be Nia Jax.
Time for Nia Jax to take a nice long nap.
Yeah, I think it would be a bit weird to take the title off Asuka. I think Asuka's been doing really well. She's really nailing it with the championship at the moment. Nia Jax, I guess, was just waiting in the wings. But it seems as though they're setting up, or they're already looking past this match and they're looking at another Charlotte-Asuka feud.
I suppose it's possible. I still think the ultimate payoff for this whole thing is going to be Shayna versus Asuka. I think that match will happen at some point for the title. And at that point, I will have no idea who's going to win.
Yeah, I think that one will be the ultimate match. The one that you look at and you're like, that was the match. We're probably not there yet. Obviously with Nia Jax sitting in front of us, but all the bad things happen when we look past a match at the next feud. That's when we get sideswiped with these Dolph Zigglers and other people who just happen to win championships when no one's expecting it, and we get sideswiped. But I fully believe that Nia Jax will not be walking out the champion. What's your favorite color, red or blue?
Red.
Red it is. We will look at the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre will be defending against Bobby Lashley.
I really don't know what they're going to do here. This feels like it's just way too early of a match to have happened.
So we dirty finish and delay it.
Possibly. But I flipped a coin and I picked Lashley to win the title.
No. You're not allowed. No. No, you see, Drew McIntyre is going to win. He's going to win in 2 minutes. And he's going to win real easy. I have to counteract this coin flip now, because the... Hold on, let me flip a coin. Hold on. Heads, Drew McIntyre wins. Tails, Drew McIntyre wins. Oh, look, it was heads, Drew McIntyre wins, okay? We're not allowed to say Bobby Lashley wins. You put that evil in the universe, and then my boy's gonna lose. No putting that evil there. My boy wins. Bobby can win later on down the line. Not right now. I refuse. I won't let it happen. But I guess the point is that Bobby Lashley is probably one of the most, if not the biggest threat to Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship reign on Raw. And if he's the first one up here at Backlash, if Drew wins, who's his next credible threat? And if Lashley loses, what do you do with Lashley?
Yeah.
And I don't particularly know either. I'm sure we can make some credible threats for Drew. We can put some people up against him, and that'll be fine. It's more we've built Bobby up. We have Bobby, we have MVP, we have those guys. They're working together. They're doing this, they're doing that, and then they go straight for the biggest match first, and then they fail at the first hurdle.
Yeah, I guess I could see some kind of questionable finish. Drew retains, and then we do Orton, Drew, and a couple other matches, and then Lashley earns another shot somehow, and then finally takes the title.
It's the only thing I can see. The dirty finish and delay is all I've got. I've got no other ideas.
Yeah, what concerns me though is certain former champion that could be waiting in the wings.
That's so cryptic.
Well, it's because you don't want to hear who it is.
Oh no.
Considering that for the better part of the last 4 years, he's been champion in some short way, shape, or form.
And so the Universal Championship match is going to be Braun Strowman in a 2-on-1 handicap match, defending against Miz and Morrison.
Yeah, this ought to be interesting. Again, another relatively new champion early in their reign. Should not lose the title here. But stranger things have happened, especially with Braun Strowman and handicap matches for titles.
Yeah, I guess I look at this match and I think about what we've been talking about for the past, it feels like 6 months, I'm sure it's not, with Miz and Morrison. You know, they came back, they were the tag team, and we always said, these two are going to break up, these two are going to have a feud. And I look ahead, I pull out my little binoculars, and I see SummerSlam. I see it there, 2 months from now. And I see all of those times behind us that we said Miz and Morrison are going to break up and cost each other a match. You know, with Miz losing the tag titles on his own and Morrison getting mad at him. And then I look at this and I go, well, what if Morrison has the win and Miz pulls him off because he wants to win? And then them arguing causes them both to lose. And then we finally get our Miz and Morrison and we head towards it at SummerSlam.
Yeah, they could do that. Or they could have Morrison actually win the title, Miz be jealous, attack Morrison, and then they have a match at SummerSlam for the Universal title.
That's true, but didn't you just say Braun shouldn't lose the title? I got to accomplish everything.
Yeah, it said Braun shouldn't lose it, but I also said we've seen stranger things happen,
That's
especially
true.
with Braun and a handicap match.
That's true.
For a title.
We'll have to wait and see. But I got to assume this timer on Miz and Morrison is about to be up.
Yeah, I do think that Their time is up, and their time is not now.
Oh. And let's transition onto the last match on the card, Backlash. We got Edge, we got Orton in the, let me get the quote exactly right here, greatest wrestling match ever.
This should be, I think this will be a good, really good match. Question is where do they go from here? I think Edge will edge out Orton in this match, but I think Orton will still be strong enough that he could be a potential challenger for Drew if Drew retains.
Yeah, I guess the big question mark, other than the best, greatest wrestling match ever thing and all this other jazz, is regardless of who wins, I don't know where Edge goes.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd have another one with Orton after their Mania, and then they're getting another one with Orton, and it's like, okay, but now they've got to be done. Now they've got to be finished. And you want Edge at SummerSlam. So you're gonna need to build something for that.
Yeah, well, we could have Orton win this match and then have to do a rubber match at Extreme Rules.
Yeah. It's entirely possible. I don't know. I just don't like Randy Orton, as you say. You can put Drew there. You could put Apollo there. You could put plenty of the faces against Orton, and he'll do his thing, and he'll float around and put on matches with them. But with Edge, because he's such a spectacle at the moment, and working that reduced schedule and all the stuff, I'm assuming it's going to be a case of each of his feuds have got to be special. Each of his feuds have got to be something. And I just don't know what his next one is after Orton. Win or lose or rubber match. Because he's going to have to move on eventually.
You know what? I have a proposal for a match for SummerSlam for him.
Okay. I'm always.
It'll be 2 part-timers, though.
Depends who the other one is.
Well, the other is Mr. Hollywood, John Cena.
Yeah, I thought about it. When I was saying that every feud has to be meaningful, I was looking around. I'm like, who's Edge got on this roster that he can, a pre-baked feud? And the only thought I had was John Cena. But I don't know if he's done after the Firefly Funhouse match or not. So, don't know. I also don't know if Edge is locked to the Raw brand, or if he can float around as required. And there's no rules that says we can't have Edge versus Drew McIntyre. Nobody said that.
No. But if you're Drew and you face Edge, what are the odds you actually beat him?
That's true. I guess I've just pulled up the roster page because I'm cheating. And I guess the next thing, obviously he's a little preoccupied at the moment, but the next thing that they could throw in front of him would be a Seth Rollins match.
Yeah, I could see Seth versus Edge.
There's a bit of history there, obviously. A bit of cinder blocky history. And it could work out. Obviously, Seth is dealing with Rey Mysterio at the moment, potentially Dominic and all of that, but he'll be finished with that sooner or later, and Edge can slot on in there. So maybe you're right. Maybe rubber match for Edge and Orton at Extreme Rules, and then Edge versus Rollins at SummerSlam. There we go. That means my official prediction is that Randy Orton wins the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, and I'll flip over and say Edge will win, and then Edge will be taken out on Raw, and we won't see him for a couple months.
That can also do it.
So it's time to set up for SummerSlam.
Well, we've got a little bit of extra time. Crazy prediction. I'm going to ask for it. I used to ask for it every pay-per-view. what is one of the craziest things you can think of that might actually happen out of left field for this pay-per-view at Backlash?
You mean one that I haven't already said?
Yeah, one that isn't already a random match prediction.
Andrade gets replaced by somebody else and beats up Apollo Crews for the title.
There we go. Easy peasy. It's been great talking to you.
Baby.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio, and we'll see you next week with the results from this Backlash pay-per-view.